particular lecture we'll be studying about what is meant by Joule's law. We'll try to study the Joule's law with respect to the thermodynamical concept, and also we'll try to study the Joule's law with respect to the heating effect concept of electricity, so that you will be understanding the difference between what is meant by Joule's law whenever we are trying to deal the Joule's law in the thermodynamics, and also whenever you are trying to deal the Joule's law with respect to the electricity. So firstly, let us try to study Joule's law with respect to thermodynamics. Joule is one of the greatest scientists who has discovered the concept of energy of propagation. He has discovered the concepts of energy propagation, by which he has stated many laws like Joule's law of heating, Joule's law of cooling, Joule's Kelvin effect, Joule's Thomson effect. All these are the laws which have been stated by Joule while dealing with this concept of energy propagation. So now this Joule's law is regarding the energy propagation. It's regarding how the energy is being transferred from one point to another point in a system. So now here in this thermodynamics, as per the thermodynamics, Joule's law can be stated as the amount of work done by a thermodynamical system. The amount of work done by a thermodynamical system, when I talk about the system, here the system can be your machine, it can be your engine, it can be any kind of thermodynamical system. So now Joule's law it states that its amount of work done by a thermodynamical system is directly proportional to the heat produced by the system. It states that the amount of work done by a system, here system can be machine or any kind of engine. The amount of work done by a system is directly proportional to the heat produced or heat energy produced by the system. So it means that see now, if you are talking about rubbing of your hands, let us assume for some time, let us try to consider that our hands are the systems. If I try to rub my hands, both my hands, what happens? Due to the friction, heat is been produced. It means that a work is been done. What kind of work? It is a rubbing of hands. If you try to rub your hands, due to that work, due to that friction, the heat is been produced. In a similar way, we have seen many different kinds of thermodynamical systems in the previous lectures, that the work done by a system is directly proportional to the heat produced. So the Joule's law states that the amount of work done by a system is directly proportional to heat energy produced by the system. So from this one we can write it as work done is directly proportional to heat energy, that is H, and later if I remove this proportional sign, it becomes W equal to JH. W equal to JH, where J is nothing else but it's a ratio of W over H, and we can even define this J as where J is the mechanical equivalent of work. It is a mechanical equivalent of work. It is a mechanical equivalent of work. Then how to define this particular J? It is a mechanical equivalent of work. It is defined as it's a ratio of work done by the system to the heat produced by the system while doing this particular amount of work. So now this J is it is not a physical quantity. It is not a physical quantity. This is an important objective. It's not a physical quantity, whereas it is a conversion factor. It is a conversion factor between work and heat produced. It's a conversion factor between work and heat produced. Now coming to the value of J. If you talk about the value of J, J is like J is equal to, if you see this one, the units for this one, J, the units for this J will be, the work done unit is joule, joule per calorie, joule per calorie. So the unit of this one, J is equal to joule per calorie. So it can be written as J equal to 1 joule over 1 calorie. If it is this one, then it can also be written as 1 joule equal to 10 power 7 urge, 10 power 7 urge per calorie, 10 power 7 urge per calorie. And this is regarding the unit. So let us see now the value of this J. So now the J can be written as 4.186 joule over calorie, which is again approximated to 4.2 joule over calorie, Now let us see in terms of urge. In terms of urge, it will be 4.186 into 10 power 7 urge over calorie, that is equal to 4.2 into 10 power 7 urge over calorie, So now this is regarding what is meant by Joule's law in terms of your thermodynamics. In terms of your thermodynamics, Joule's law is nothing else but it's the amount of work done by a system which is directly proportional to the amount of heat produced by the system. That's why we have written it as W is directly proportional to H. W is equal to J into H. J is equal to W over H. J equal to W over H. J is equal to the unit for this one. This is a SI unit. This is a unit, joule over calorie. Now the work done, that's the work done unit is joule and the heat energy is calorie. That's why it is joule over calorie. Now coming to this joule, one mechanical work done, one mechanical equivalent of work done equal to 1 joule over calorie, that is equal to 1 joule is equal to 10 power 7 urge. 1 joule is equal to 10 power 7 urge, 10 power 7 urge, which is urge is nothing else but it is the CJ's unit of work done. It's a CJ's unit of work done. So therefore it is 10 power 7 urge over calorie. So now 1 joule is equal 1 mechanical work done. That's mechanical equivalent of work done equal to 4.186 joule over calorie. That is approximated to 4.2 joule over calorie. If I write this equation in terms of urge, it will be 4.186 into 10 power 7 urge over calorie, that is equal to 4.2 into 10 power 7 urge over calorie. So this is a concept about what is meant by Joule's law in terms of thermodynamical concepts. Now this is regarding what is meant by Joule's law in terms of your thermodynamics. In terms of your thermodynamics, Joule's law is nothing else but it's the amount of work done by a system which is directly proportional to the amount of heat produced by the system. That's why we have written it as W is directly proportional to H. W is equal to J into H. J is equal to W over H. J equal to W over H. J is equal to the unit for this one. This is a SI unit. This is a unit, joule over calorie. Now the work done, that's the work done unit is joule and the heat energy is calorie. That's why it is joule over calorie. Now coming to this joule, one mechanical work done, one mechanical equivalent of work done equal to 1 joule over calorie, that is equal to 1 joule is equal to 10 power 7 urge. 1 joule is equal to 10 power 7 urge. 10 power 7 urge, which is urge is nothing else but it is the CJ's unit of work done. It's a CGS unit of work done. So therefore, it is 10 power 7 urge over calorie. So now 1 joule is equal 1 mechanical work done. That's mechanical equivalent of work done equal to 4.186 joule over calorie. That is approximated to 4.2 joule over calorie. If I write this equation in terms of urge, it will be 4.186 into 10 power 7 urge over calorie. That is equal to 4.2 into 10 power 7 urge over calorie. So this is a concept about what is meant by Joule's law in terms of thermodynamical concept. Now we'll try to see the same Joule's law with respect to the electrical concepts. That is nothing else, but we call it as an Joule's law of heating effects. Heating effects. It means that if I am having a conductor over here, let it be my conductor. Okay. In this conductor, current is passing, that is nothing else but the charge particles are moving. Let the current flowing is equal to I, and this conductor is supplied to some battery. That is your potential difference. Current is flowing here. Let the resistance of this conductor is R, and the time taken for the charge particles to travel from this point to this point, that is throughout the conductor, is T. If this is the case, now I need to define that, or I need to derive that the Joule's law is equal to H is equal to I square RT. This is the Joule's law when it comes to the electrical concepts. It means that whenever a current is passing through a particular conductor, then due to the motion of charge particles, there will be some kind of resistance in that particular conductor, and due to that resistance and the motion of charge particle, the conductor is going to get heated up, and that heat produced is equal to I square RT. So now here we are supposed to derive this equation, this formula H equal to I square RT. So let us start doing it. From Ohm's law, which we have studied in your basics of your physics, you have studied that even in your school days, you might have studied about the Ohm's law. We know V is equal to IR. V equal to IR, let it be my equation number 1. And by the definition of current, we know that current is nothing else but the amount of charges which travel in one particular amount of time. So that I equal to Q over T. I am not talking anything with respect to the concepts of physics as per your +1 or +2 or your intermediate syllabus. I am talking with respect to the concepts of physics which you have already studied in your school days. Okay, I equal to Q over T. Then I can write this equation as Q equal to I into T. So now let this one be my equation number 2. Then by the definition of potential difference, what is potential difference here? What is meant by potential difference? Can anyone give me an answer to potential difference? What is meant by potential difference? Cheppandamma. Make it fast. We are supposed to complete many more concepts in Joule's law. Pallavi, Madhumita, Bhagyashri, Gayatri, Anusha, Sneha. అంటే ఏంటి అని నాకు కూడా తెలుసమ్మా. పొటెన్షియల్ డిఫరెన్స్ ఉల్టా చెప్పి రాస్తే డిఫరెన్స్ ఆఫ్ పొటెన్షియల్ అవుతుందని. అంటే ఎలా So see Amma, listen here. Potential difference is nothing else but if I am having one, I hope you can see this particular point. If I'm having this particular electric field, if this is my electric field, okay, now a charge has come and settled at the point A. Let it be my point A. Okay, it has settled, it has come from an infinity and it has come and it has settled over here at point A. Let the potential at point A equal to VA. And later, this charge which has come is a positive charge. It's a unit positive charge. Now, since the center of this electric field will be with a negative charge, let me assume it as a negative charge, then definitely what happens? This negative charge will try to pull this positive charge towards itself. It tries to pull the positive charge towards itself. Because of that one, what happens? The charge which is present over here, this is positive charge plus Q and this is negative charge minus Q. So because of that reason, the negative charge will come to a point which is much closer to this one. Much closer. Let this be my point B. Let this be my point B, and the charge is right now here is plus Q and the potential is equal to VB. Potential equal to VB. If this is my case, since my point B is very close to this one, what happens? The potential at point B will be much greater than the potential at point A. Is it okay, ma? So now, what is happening here? This difference is called as a potential difference. That difference we call as a potential difference. But how to define that one? Whenever this particular charge applies a force is applied upon this one. A force is applied upon the charge plus by negative charge. What is it? This is a force. Then what happens? If a force is applied, it has moved from this point to this point. A displacement has taken place. Displacement at S has been taken place. So ultimately what has happened? Force into work done. Sorry, force into displacement is what? Work done. Work done is nothing else but it's a product of force into work done. A force has been applied by the negative charge upon the positive charge. Because of that one, the positive charge has moved to the point which is closer to that negative charge. So a work is been done. Work is been done by what? Work is been done by a unit positive charge to move from one point to another point. So now listen. The definition of potential difference which you have studied in your school days is potential difference is defined as the work done by a unit positive charge to move from one point to another point in an electric field. Is it okay? This is a definition which you have studied. You even studied another definition with respect to potential, that is a electric potential. Electric potential is an work done by a unit positive charge to come from an infinity, from a point outside the electric field to a point inside the electric field. That is the definition which you have studied for electric potential. For potential difference, you have studied that it is the amount of work done by a unit positive charge to move from one point to another point inside the electric field itself. So therefore, my definition of potential difference, V is equal to W over Q. V equal to W over Q. Therefore, I can write it as W is equal to V into Q. V into Q, let it be my equation number 3. Let it be my equation number 3. Now you substitute equation 1 and 2 in 3. Substitute 1 and 2 in 3. When you substitute, what happens, ma? W equal to, what is V? V equal to I into R. V equal to I into R into what is Q? Q equal to I into T. So what happens to this equation? I square RT. It is I square RT, that is equal to W. Since now here energy cannot be created nor it can be destroyed, but it can be changed from one form to another form. Here energy, why did I call W as energy? Because we have studied one basics definition in our basics of physics, that energy is nothing else but it's a capacity to do work. It's a capacity or the capability to do work. Means what? If you have an energy, then only you will be doing the work. So that's why the W is equal to energy. Now what kind of energy it has been developed here? When you do work, and heat energy will be developed. That's why I can write this equation as H is equal to I square RT. So this is the derivation for Joule's law in terms of heating effects. Okay, whenever you are passing a current through a conductor, then that particular current will be opposed by the resistance of this conductor, and also it will be opposed by the length of the conductor, the amount of time taken. So that's why your definition for this Joule's law will be, in this case, it is a product of square of the current which is passing in a conductor and resistance of the conductor and the time taken for the conductor to pass from one point of the conductor, time taken for the current to pass from one point of the conductor to another point of the conductor. So what are the examples of this Joule's law? The example of a Joule's law can be iron box or the press, electric press will be one of the best example. Whenever you try to iron any of the cloth, what happens? You will be turning on the iron box. The current will be passing through the wire. Because of that current passing through the wire, the thermocouple which is there in the iron box will be heated up. So due to the passing of the electric charges, the thermocouple is being heated up. Example. Another example is electrical heater. Electrical heater is another example. What is the Joule's law? If you completely do some work, what is the work? The charge particles are traveling from one point to another point. If a charge particles are traveling, then the heat is being produced. That is another example, electrical heater. And another example, good example I can give you is that whenever you try to charge your mobile phone, you might have even seen the adapter of your mobile phone is getting heated up. Okay, the work is done by the adapter is to charge your mobile phone. But how the work is being done? In order to pass the charge, it has to pass the current through that adapter. In doing this work, the heating of that adapter takes place. So these are the few examples of the Joule's law or the heating effects of Joule's law. Let me consider that one example with respect to the height. How to calculate the height of a particular substance which has been falling or which has to be climbed up. So see now. A boy weighing 42 kgs gains an energy of 980 calories by eating bananas in order to climb a height h. Find height h. Find h value. This will be a question. So see now, there is one particular boy whose weight is 42 kgs and he has ate some bananas by which he has gained some energy. The energy is equal to 980 calories. Why did he eat that particular bananas? The main reason is that by gaining that energy he has to climb the height, and we are supposed to find by what is that height which he want to climb. So see now, the energy which is being gained, the energy gained is 980 calories. That energy is being used for what? To climb an height. So I can tell here now that the energy which is being gained by the boy, is what? Is used for doing some work. Is it okay? Energy is gained, the work is used for doing some work. So that's why I can write energy gained is equal to potential energy. It is equal to potential energy. Why did I write here potential energy? We know that potential energy is a energy possessed by a body by the virtue of its height or by virtue of its position. Is it right? A potential energy definition is, it's an energy which is possessed by a body due to its position or due to its height. Virtue means due to. So now here, so energy gained entama, it is 980 calories. 980 calorie is equal to mgh, formula of potential energy. So if you convert this 980 calorie, it becomes 1 calorie equal to 4.2 joule. 4.2 joule equal to, what is the mass of a boy? 42. 42 into the acceleration due to gravity is 9.8. Height we are supposed to find. H is equal to 980 into 4.2 over 42 into 9.8. 4.2 ones are 4 tens are. That is equal to 980 over 10 into 9.8. That is equal to 980 over 98. If you cancel, you will get it as 10. Therefore, the height which a particular boy has to climb in order to liberate that energy is 10 meters. So this much height he has to climb in order to liberate this energy which is being gained by the boy. Okay, so this can be some of the questions which are related to the applications of Joule's law.